Brilliant, thank you, Chris. Well, good morning and welcome to our 2020 conference. My name's Claire Bocking, I'm Chair of Women in Wholesale and I'm also Chief Commercial Officer for DCS Group. And it's fantastic to see so many of you virtually again, even though we're not in our normal place in London. But what a journey I guess we are all on. At our first conference in 2016, we ventured into the unknown by creating Women in Wholesale and holding an educational networking event specifically for women in our sector. Our objective was to inspire and support female talent. 5 conferences, 4 years, 3 networking events, and 2 industry reports later, a significant amount has changed. Our 2017 event was 50% bigger than our 2016, and we have continued to grow every year. And many of the initiatives we've seeded have now been adopted across the industry as best practice. Our conference themes reflect how we've developed with our delegates, from gaining momentum to progress to success, and now we're taking control. Last year, we confirmed that 94% of delegates feel more positive about their career progression after attending a Women in Wholesale event, and our mission for today is to improve on that score. This year, we've all had to adapt, be flexible, be creative, and lead through unprecedented challenges and significant ambiguity. Women in Wholesale has remained constant in our commitment to inspire and support talent in our sector. We've produced 5 webinars and 3 vlogs this year covering topics including confidence, resilience, working from home, redundancy, adapting to change, and they're all still on the Women in Wholesale website. So today's conference continues the Take Control theme, and over the next 3 hours, you'll hear from some truly amazing and inspirational people. Absolutely what you need to keep you energized and optimistic at the start of a second national lockdown. So you all should have received the agenda for today. Our first session ends at about 10:30 with time for a quick coffee break before we start session 2 at 10:45. After hearing from our last guest speaker, Elliot Rowland, founder of Women in Wholesale, will say a few words before we close at about 12:15. So that's it from me for now. It's now my great pleasure to introduce you to our first guest from Millennium Group. Kelly, over to you.
Hey Kelly, are you with us? There you are.
I am. How are you? Good morning everybody.
Brilliant. Yeah, good, thanks Kelly. So I will start by just telling everyone a little bit about who you are, Kelly, and how we met.
Okay.
So 8 years ago, when I first joined Wholesale, I was the editor of Better Wholesaling magazine, and my boss gave me a job to speak to 10 wholesalers a week, find out what they want to read about, what their issues are, and basically put a magazine together based on that. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. I'm sure a lot of people in this webinar will know how hard it is to talk to wholesalers, how hard it is to get through the barriers, especially if you don't know them in the first place. I met a lovely guy called Guy Gissing, who worked for AG Bar at the time, and Guy introduced me to Kelly. And Kelly was one of the first women I ever met in Wholesale, and she just gave me the best first impression. She invited me on a crash course of cash and carries in her area. So she literally packed me in her car and took me around to about 6 or 7 different cash and carries. I got to meet all the owners. I got to learn about their businesses. She really just helped me out with my job and helped me look amazing with my boss. And I'll never forget Kelly, because she was so kind to me when I first started, and we've kept in touch, and she's been to loads of events and I always see her face. She's always smiling, and I'm just a massive Kelly fan. But Kelly, during the lockdown, has actually managed to get herself a new job, a promotion, and it's just a really wonderful story. So I've just got a few questions for Kelly that we can all enjoy. So Kelly, in a nutshell, tell us about your career path since leaving school.
Well, first off, thank you for that intro, because it's quite we'll come to it as well a little later on. But firstly, I always wanted to work. I started off as a civil servant in social services for 2 years in East London. That definitely made me resilient. And then I went on to work in a call centre, and I worked my way from a team leader to a supervisor. Had an amazing manager. He introduced me to my level 4 in management, and mentored me, coached me, put me on projects that I was working in Holland and France, and it was just an amazing time with him. I'm still very much in touch with him and the family now. And then that enabled me to walk straight into AG Bar, into a position to run the direct delivery side in London, and manage a team that hadn't been actually had a consistent manager for quite a few years. So that was quite challenging. I had to get in there, mould them, get results quickly, you know, make sure that the culture, they bonded. And then around about 10 years ago, one of my managers asked me to come over to Wholesale, and I've not looked back, not at all. It's been 10 years of making really good friends, you know, being trusted to do the best by people in their business, especially the independent wholesale cash and carries. So yeah, I had a high profile portfolio in London, so it was something that has really, you know, it's been a good career. It's been a really good career.
So dusty warehouses is not everyone's cup of tea. So what made you decide to stay in wholesale?
There was just not one day, the people, you know, there was just not one day that I didn't want to turn up. I didn't ever think I don't want to go into that meeting, or that, you know, so much you walk in, you're thinking you're going in for one goal and you come out with so much more. And that was always the bit that drove me. And that was, I never saw them as dusty warehouses, funnily enough. I saw them that they was my spaces that I wanted to own. And I think that's quite ironic, really, that Millennium Cash and Carry was the first that I took you into, and you saw that. So it was all, and I was very proud of that work. Still am.
Brilliant. So it's a really uncertain time. A lot of people are worried about their jobs. What on earth did you leave your stable job in the middle of a pandemic?
I wanted a challenge, pandemic or not. There's a time for everything. I had built relationships with the owners of Millennium Group to know that we could have certain conversations. They trusted me enough and sufficiently to do, you know, whatever, if there was going to be a move to them, that I was going to do right by them. I was coming into a role that, you know, that was really going to take us forward. And yeah, it's a challenge. And I wanted to also get back into man management. I had, you know, I was you know, out on the road for 10 years. So it was nice to have that challenge again. I was looking forward to it.
Spending quite a long time in one job, it must be quite frightening, the thought of going for another job. You must need to have quite a lot of confidence. Do you suffer from imposter syndrome? And clearly you don't, because you've gone for another job and you've got it. How do you get over it? How do you get the confidence?
I think I do suffer from imposter syndrome. I think it's just that you know, you can't get away from that at some stage. I think it also depends on where you are in your own personal circumstance too, whether that voice is louder or not. I think self-belief is critical. When you really suffer from that, you have to sit yourself down and think, what have I achieved? Remember, people's views are people's views. No one should really ever tell you no. You need to sit down and list of what you've been good at in the past, in you know, what awards you've won. Get in touch with old managers, you know, have a good network around you, coaches. You know, make sure that all the time that you're trying to hear that positive voice and let that imposter go out the door.
People forget what they're good at, don't they? A few people have said this to me. Write down a biography for yourself, even if you're not looking for a job, or write. Yeah, go.
It's so important. It's so important. You know, the choice is always yours to make moves and to make decisions. And if you're in a situation and you're feeling, you know, we stay in certain situations also because we do feel safe. You know, that is the norm. That is where we're at. But you know, and you have to definitely take on board that you know you are made for better things. So that imposter that is telling you, no, you shouldn't make that move, or you shouldn't be looking to do that, or that won't last, you know, you have to just put that but without the arrogance. You know, you can be, you definitely have self-belief, but without the arrogance part of it. You know, you have to find your middle ground.
Yeah. Do you have any advice to other people who are thinking about a career move or have been forced to make be put out of their job at the moment?
Yeah, and I know that it's really testing times, and I'm talking about a fortunate story. Others are maybe not so fortunate, so you know, I really do have a lot of empathy with that. But you know, you look at the transferable skills that you have, look at what you've been currently doing, and also look at what you can offer to other companies. Other companies, it doesn't have to be the big corporate companies, and you know, look at the relationships that you've built over a certain period of time. Who can you actually have these conversations with? Who would, you know, be, if you went to them and had these conversations, who would be thinking along the same lines as you? You don't look at it as a fear or a risk. You know, we are all meant to have certain stepping stones in our career, and if something doesn't work, you change direction and you go another direction. Yeah, it's you have to move. You have to find a positive.
Yeah, okay. And what made you think differently from 16 years in one company to Millennium Group?
It was just the fact that I wanted a more senior position. I felt that I could definitely hold a more senior position and be trusted to hold a more senior position. The opportunity for growth, a new challenge. I wanted to broaden my own market knowledge. I mean, you know, wholesale is just a brilliant place to be. So in the fact of working from a supplier of brands to coming into a company that is, you know, so widely known for being able to for so many brands, and to be able to supply business to business is it's really great, and to be part of it. Yeah,
it's really hard, isn't it? Because a lot of people must feel like they need to progress. Everyone always wants to progress, but sometimes there isn't the opportunity where you are, or maybe it's been given to other people. So what do you think people should try harder to try and progress within their own business? Or do you think when you're not getting where you want to get, it's just time to look elsewhere?
yeah, move. You know, move. You know, we say it all the time. Move. You make the move. Look around. You know, if you have a direction of where you want to get to, upskill yourself. You know, I've so many things that I'm forever looking at, and you know, like what I see on the likes of LinkedIn, and you know, watch all the inspirational things that I can possibly you know, I am my worst critic. Also, if I need to know I've done a good day's work, so you know, I need to I have very high standards for myself in that way. So yeah, you just need to push through.
And how are things going at Millennium Group so far?
It's interesting, and it is go. It's exactly what I like. It's exactly why I stayed in wholesale. The company is a brilliant, resilient company, versatile, and you know, it's really good because a lot of the relationships that I built in the trade previously, Millennium Group supply these companies. So I'm able to still keep these relationships and add to the business, add value. The team that I'm managing are coming along leaps and bounds. It's really good to see. Every week is different. It's nice also to see them being moulded and gelling together. It's just so versatile, and the brands, the fact that they own obviously Elm Spring, which is a sponsor. So, and you'll be hearing a lot from Jack later for session 2, and what we've got going on there. It's just that these exciting times. It really is.
And that's have you taken on more responsibility? So are you managing more people there?
Yes, I've got a team of 6, and it's telesales as well as national account managers on the road going into customers. So yeah, it's what I've been trusted with and trusted to do is really a big show. But I wanted it. I wanted it. You know, you have to want what you want, and I wanted it. So yes, I've definitely taken on and managing a great team, and it will excel. It will get bigger.
Brilliant. No doubt about that. Thank you so much, Kelly. Any other final pearls of wisdom for our members?
Oh, I don't know about pearls of wisdom, but I know it's testing times. I know, you know, for careers, businesses, it's, you know, I do sympathise, but just look out the comfort zone. Really take the opportunity to, with this lockdown, etc., upskill, take the positives as much as you possibly can, and you know, tough times don't last. You know, that's what we need to think. We're in an industry that we are very resilient, so that's all I would say. And yeah, be bold, have the conversations, and you know, and see what comes of that.
Brilliant. Be bold, and this will pass. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you, Elliot. Thank you. Great to see you.
You too.
Oh, what a fantastic start. Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Elliot. It was, I think, Kelly, you're absolutely role modelling everything that Women in Wholesale is about, so thank you for that.